I'm just going to ask you 5 very, very simple yes or no questions, so make sure you keep track of your answers, okay? Do you prefer one-on-one conversations than group activities? Do you hate small talk but love talking about very, very specific topics that matter to you? Do you enjoy being alone sometimes? Do people describe you as soft-spoken or that you don't talk much? Do you think a lot before you have to speak or make an opinion? If your answers were mostly yes, then congratulations, you're an introvert. Just like me. And if most of your answers were no, then you're an asshole. Okay, I'm just kidding. Sorry to all of you extroverts. I have nothing against any of you. But what the do you have against us? Let's just Google the definition of introverts and extroverts and you'll know what I'm talking about. Introverts are defined as shy and reserved people who would rather enjoy spending time alone. Extroverts are defined as outgoing and socially confident people. Do you notice the difference in the words used? Shy and reserved, outgoing and socially confident. I'm pretty sure all of these definitions were also written by an extrovert because it's an extrovert's world. And in this world, it's assumed that being an introvert is like being a loser, and in order to become successful, you have to be an extrovert. But in the same world, Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, Larry Page, J.K. Rowling, Steven Spielberg, and even Mahatma Gandhi. All of these people were introverts, and you obviously know how successful they were. But even today, why do people believe that you have to be an extrovert to be successful? I've personally been an introvert pretty much all my life, maybe even before I knew the word introvert. I used to love reading books and watching movies rather than playing sports outside with my friends. I loved talking to just one or two people for hours, but in a group, I'll always be the silent one. I'd always run away somewhere if we had relatives coming home or if we had some big family function. Most of my family likes to tell everyone in the world that I'm shy and loves telling me also that why are you not more like them? Why don't you speak more like them? Why don't you talk more like them? Why can't you be more outgoing like them? And when you put all of these points together, totally it paints a kind of a negative, undesirable image. And whenever I used to look into the mirror, I used to see an underconfident person and I used to hate myself for it. Even if I loved doing what I did, I used to be uncomfortable while I was alone at home. So I'd probably go out and meet a lot of friends, even if I didn't really enjoy it, or even if I did enjoy it and would get really tired after meeting a lot of people. I think I spent the first 26 or 27 years of my life feeling bad about myself and this particular quality of mine and always thinking to myself, why am I not like them? I wished I could be like other people. I tried to become like other people. And I didn't just feel bad about myself. Whenever I used to go out and I used to look at some people eating alone at a restaurant or coming to watch a movie alone, I used to judge them for being weird until I started doing the same thing just 2 years back. And though I love going for movies with my friends, watching a movie by yourself in the theater with all the Pepsi and popcorn to yourself, with no one to interrupt you while you're being immersed in a story on the big screen, it's fucking magical. In the last couple of years, I started enjoying time with myself. I started enjoying my me time. I started going out and watching movies alone. I think in the last 1 year, I would have watched at least 7 or 8 movies in the theater by myself. I even started enjoying being at home by myself, just reading or writing or drawing or just looking outside the window and thinking about some idea or a story that I could write. And I honestly don't know what changed, but I read something recently. I think it was Carl Jung, who was one of the world's most famous psychologists at one point, and in 1921 he said something like this. And it goes a lot deeper than the typical Google definition of introverts and extroverts, and it really makes sense. He defines extroverts as people who derive energy from the external world, which means people and activities. On the other hand, he defines introverts as people who derive energy from the internal world, which means feelings, thoughts, observations, and ideas. So basically, extroverts are solar powered. They get their energy from outside, and introverts are battery powered. They get their energy from inside. And I don't think either side is wrong. I think each side has its own disadvantages and advantages. But in the case of introverts, I don't know why we always tend to focus on the negative side a little more. Even if I loved doing all the things while I was alone, okay, that sounds wrong. Even if I loved watching movies or reading or writing or just getting lost in my thoughts and coming up with ideas that would help me create so many things. Even if I got joy and a little bit of success out of my solitude, I used to focus a lot more on the few disadvantages that I had, mainly because I think I had no self-awareness. And secondly, I was trying to seek acceptance. We all have our different identities, we all like different things, but at the same time, we want to be accepted by other people, right? And that's completely okay, but I think the mistake that we're constantly making is that we try to seek acceptance from other people by trying to behave like other people, by trying to fit in. But we have to understand that doing that is not going to change anything. You might be happy for some time that you're accepted by a few people because you behave like that group of people. But in the long run, you feel like you're actually cheating yourself and your happiness, your mental health, everything starts to drop and then you become more confused than you used to be. Real change happens when you accept a few things. Number one, when you accept that you cannot please everyone in the world. Number two, when you accept that if you feel a certain way, that you are not alone. And most importantly, number three, when you accept the fact that before you seek the acceptance of others, you have to seek the acceptance of the most important person in the world, yourself. Every month I look for a book to buy on Amazon, and when I was browsing Amazon this time, I found this book called Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. And because it sounded like the title of my life, I immediately bought it and I started reading it, and within the first 15 pages itself, I could start relating to every single word on every single page. If you're also an introvert like me, I suggest that you get this book. I'm going to leave the link in the description, and you should also check out this TED Talk by the author of this book, who is Susan Cain, and it's called The Power of Introverts. You can probably find the link here. But anyways, I've just started reading this book and I've already started feeling so much better of myself as an introvert. And as I read more and learn more about this topic of introverts and learn a lot more about myself, I'll probably talk about this topic more in the coming videos. And if you guys are interested, please let me know in the comments. But the point of this video, it's very simple. Today I'm 30 years old and it took me years of self-pity and self-realization and self-awareness and then self-acceptance to get to this point where I can talk to you about this stuff. But according to my Instagram and YouTube stats and the conversations that I've had with some of you guys, I find that a lot of my audience, I understand that a lot of you are between the age of 18 to 25. And if you're more of an introvert and if you're feeling bad about it by any chance, all I want to tell you is you are not alone. Almost half of the world's population is introverts. And number two, you have your entire life ahead of you. So while you have the time, stop trying to use your time to try to please other people. It's not going to work. Instead, start using it to think about yourself, your goals, and the joy that you'll get out of it. It might sound selfish, but at the end of the day, if you don't help yourself, you really can't help anyone else in the world. This is what I think, this is what I did, and this is what I think you should try doing. And slowly you'll start to become a better version of yourself than a bad Xerox of someone else. But that's it for today. I hope you could relate what I spoke about, and if you did, please hit like so that this video shows up on more people's feeds. Hit subscribe, comment if you agree or disagree with anything I've said in the video, and most importantly, please share this with someone who needs to hear this. I'll see you next time.